Reporting that the Clippers are not getting along, and here's how it all breaks down. They say Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan are not good with one another, while Jordan has a problem with head coach Vinny Del Negro. And wait for it, it seems that both Griffin and Jordan have a problem with CP3. Hope you got it all. We're trying to figure this out. So here's the question. Who's to blame for all the problems with the Clippers? I'll start with you first, Stephen A.
The person to blame is DeAndre Jordan. Because if DeAndre Jordan were hitting free throws, then what would happen is he'd be in the fourth quarter. He'd get more touches. He'd be a bit happier. There would be no dissension between him and Blake Griffin, according to what T.J. Simons wrote in the L.A. Times, and all things would be better. But because he can't hit free throws in the fourth quarter, remember there were rumors, and they were accurate ones, by the way, that the Clippers, meaning Vinny Del Negro, wanted Kevin Garnett. Sure. Desperately. Kevin Garnett lives in Malibu in the off season. They wanted him because not only does he play stout defense and you lose nothing there, but offensively he can step away from the basket. He's a threat to hit perimeter shots, and as a result it would open up the floor for Chris Paul and others to operate, and that would be to the benefit of the Los Angeles Clippers. But he didn't want to lose DeAndre Jordan and Eric Bledsoe. He just understood that Kevin Garnett being on the team would definitely legitimize their championship aspirations. Blake Griffin, to me, is a star in this league. He's approaching superstar status, but he's got things to learn. He's raw, but not nearly as raw as DeAndre Jordan in the post. The combination of those two individuals not really having much of a post game leaves things crowded, or to the point where even if you step away from the basket, you're not the viable threat that you need to be. So teams get the key on Chris Paul more, which doesn't give him room to operate. Now, that's where the blame lies. But with that being said, it doesn't negate the fact that Vinny Del Negro knows full well that if this team gets bounced in the first round or even gets swept in the second round, there's going to be a new coach coaching the Los Angeles Clippers next season. This kind of noise, and in respect to Vinny Del Negro, I'm a fan of his. I think he's young. I think he's got a bright upside. I think he had a bad rap coming out of Chicago because he and John Paxson didn't have the greatest relationship in the end. Nobody was saying anything about Vinny Del Negro when they won 17 straight. When they won 17 straight, it was about the players. When they're losing or being up and down roller coaster ride, it's about the coach. That's not entirely fair. But he understands that this comes with the business. He's going to have to suffer the consequences if they don't share more, they don't enjoy more success. Last on the list is Chris Paul. Chris Paul, to me, is getting a bad rap in all of this because I find Chris Paul to be the best point guard in the game when he's on his game. I think that he is an elite player in this game. More importantly, I think just the manner in which he conducts himself on and off the court. He's a leader. He's a basketball ambassador. I'm a fan of Chris Paul's. Even when we weren't talking, I told you, I'm a fan of Chris Paul's. I've always believed in him. But here's why he's the guy. Out of everything we've been saying, you have to keep your eyes on him. Chris Paul is the star of this team. Chris Paul is the primary cause of it being Lob City. And Chris Paul is the one with the cachet because you've got a contract extension you'd like him to sign to stay in Los Angeles for years and years to come as a member of the Clippers organization. If anybody can make a difference with this team, it's him. Whether it's with their mentality or anything else, dare I say personnel or coaching changes. Now, Chris Paul, to his credit, never wants anything to do with that. He doesn't want his name attached to coaching changes, personnel changes. He's very big on that, Skip. He doesn't talk to people about it. He won't say anything because he doesn't want that kind of black mark attached to his resume. So he'll say nothing first. But Chris Paul is the one with the power to make the necessary changes with this organization in terms of their temperament. And if this team falls in the first round or gets obliterated in the second round, I'm sorry, it's got his name, his signature written all over it. With greatness comes great expectations. Chris Paul is not good. He's great. As a player and as a person, he's supposed to be able to fix something like this, even if you got a bunch of hard-headed dudes on your squad.
Well said. But I got to lay most of the blame at Chris Paul's feet.
Okay.
If we're going to have to do this, if that's the question, blame goes to Chris Paul. Clearly, he's the best player on the team. Not even close, right? He's the superstar on the team.
He's the superstar.
And I like Chris a lot off the court. Now, I'm not being a hypocrite about this. This is not 2020 hindsight. I told you from the first of this year. I told you last year. This is a flawed basketball team.
Yes, you did.
On the court and in the locker room. I don't like the makeup strategically or psychologically and emotionally. Either one, whichever way you want to look at it, I don't like it. Because DeAndre has a little bit of knucklehead in him, just a little bit. I like him and I like his talent, but he badly wants to be a star. I mean, a big Hollywood star in Hollywood.
Yeah, I don't know if that makes him a knucklehead, though.
Okay, well, whatever.
Right.
He can play like a knucklehead because he plays a little out of control sometimes because he wants to do what Blake is doing. Remember, they're kind of paired up inside, and he's got to see Blake. You turn on the TV, you're going to see another Blake commercial? Yeah. Another Kia, right?
Sure.
Okay. DeAndre has taken 554 fewer shots than Blake Griffin. You can say, but should be the case. Neither one of them is a great shooter. Neither one of them. One of them can't make free throws at all. The other one's improved. Blake's improved a little bit at the free throw line. I still don't trust him shooting 15-foot jump shots. And I can tell you that if the Spurs play them when whatever round, like last year when they swept the Clippers, they're not afraid of Blake shooting 15-footers. So now the onus keeps falling on Chris Paul to lead the way. Let's talk about Chris's psyche. He's an interesting player, Stephen A. How tall is Chris Paul?
6'1".
I don't think he's 6'1". I'm sorry.
According to what they say.
Yeah, he's like Trey Burke size.
Sure.
So, they say Trey Burke 6'1". He's about maybe, I'd maybe give him 6 feet, maybe. And Stephen A., Chris Paul is wound differently than most of us are. I'm talking rage to win.
Yes, he is.
I'm talking like
he's
kind of psycho. Like he can just go psycho during a game.
He's a pit bull.
And he is extremely demanding as a point guard. And sometimes, after a while, it rubs everybody on the floor the wrong way because they can't live up to those standards. It's not constructive criticism. It's rage. How can you not? Come on, come on, come on. Well, they're only this good. Neither one of them can really shoot, so you're stuck because you can't get in the lane because they can't pull people out of the lane. Am I right?
That's right.
Okay.
They can't pull people out of the lane, not with respect.
So after a while, Chris's personality, and we saw this a little bit in New Orleans, it tends to alienate more than unify.
Okay.
Some leaders unify. They can be a good cop and a bad cop.
Sure.
They can go back and forth until we all come together. Chris can be a tough, bad cop, man, because he wants everybody to play to his level. And in the end, he's 6 feet tall, and he can be stopped at times too, Stephen A.
Yes.
He can.
He can. And you know what? It's not so much that he can be stopped. It's just that he's trying to run a basketball team because he's got that prototypical point guard DNA in him. Yeah. Unlike Westbrook, as you would point out.
Totally agree.
So
well said.
So because of that, he's limited from the standpoint that his success feeds off of the success he provides for others. Now let's get back to DeAndre Jordan for a second. Do you know what DeAndre Jordan shooting from the free throw line? Are you ready for this?
I haven't checked lately. It hurts my eyes.
39% out of the free throw line. Do you have any idea how horrific that is? 39% from the free throw line.
It makes Dwight Howard.
I was going to say, what are Dwight's numbers?
You've heard me. I've gone up to DeAndre Jordan. I said, look, man, you got a chance to be a star in this league. You hit free throws.
Yeah.
You understand? Hit the free throws. I don't find him to be a bad guy. But let me be very, very clear right here on national television. I don't want to hear a word from that boy about having an attitude with Blake Griffin. DeAndre Jordan makes over $10 million a year. Do you know why? Because when the Clippers wanted Blake Griffin to re-up, Blake Griffin wanted his boy with him. You got this man $10 million a year.
Okay.
So I don't want to hear him any attitude. If DeAndre Jordan has an attitude with Blake Griffin, you know what I would do? If I was Blake Griffin or a supporter of Blake Griffin, I'd say, did you check your bank account lately? Mm-hmm. Because I have everything to do with that. Because if Blake Griffin didn't want him in L.A., DeAndre Jordan would have been gone. Trust me. Mm-hmm. So I know they're the Clippers, not the Lakers, but you still leave the Staples Center and this la-la waiting for you. With Pasadena right up the road.
Right up the road.
Come on now.
Right down the street.
Come on now. So if you are DeAndre Jordan, I mean the unmitigated goal for you to have an attitude. I'm sorry, you in L.A. making over $10 million, and I had a lot to do with it because remember, this is before Chris Paul arrived. Blake Griffin took care of that man. He needs to remember.
And what did T.J. Simers report in the L.A. Times? That Blake got miffed because DeAndre glared him down
That's
or
right.
stared him down for not passing
And
the
Blake
ball.
Griffin sat there and looked at him like, you better not do that again.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's Blake Griffin
Respect.
reminding him,
Yeah.
excuse me,
Yeah.
have you forgotten who you
Check your
are?
account. Let me ask you a question based on what Skip just said. He put the blame on CP3. Chris
I'm not.
Paul, I know you're not, but Chris Paul is a free agent this summer. Everything happening with the Clippers. Will this hurt them in terms of re-signing
It could
Chris Paul?
hurt them, but you have to remember the collective bargaining agreement that was reached last year. You can basically stay one extra year and make close to $30 million more.
Okay.
If you stay with your team, than if you went and signed with another team, then you'd only get a 4-year deal at nearly $30 million less. I think Chris Paul likes his money. I think he likes LA. He just bought a new home out there, all of that other stuff a few months ago. But in the end, you just never know, because with his State Farm commercial
And he likes to win.
beyond, I mean, listen, anything's possible. I believe he's going to stay, but don't rule it out.
Our Chris Broussard, our friend, has speculated that there's a chance that he and Dwight would both go to Atlanta together.
Well, I can't see that. I can't see Dwight Howard wanting to be in Atlanta. I know Danny Ferry, the executive running the show for the Atlanta Hawks, has been, running the streets telling everybody that they're going to be a major player in the Dwight Howard sweepstakes.
Right.
But Dwight Howard likes to be comfortable, which was an issue in L.A. Well, Atlanta's where he's from. You go to your hometown. I mean, it doesn't get more pressurized than that. I mean, just because of favors alone, people coming to ask you for. I don't think Dwight Howard wants that. So I don't think Atlanta
Don't
is
do
a
it,
viable
gentlemen.
option.
Stay in L.A. Coming up next.